7 user interface challenges, 1 prompt each. No retries, no fixing, no second chances. Whatever Claude Fable 5 produces on the first attempt gets screenshotted and judged exactly as it came out. Nothing in this video is mocked up. Every screen you're about to see is the real first output, captured straight from the browser. The tests get harder as we go. A landing page, a data dashboard, a mobile app, a rescue mission on the ugliest form I could write, an admin panel, a motion test, and a final boss that most human designers would want a week for. Each one gets a difficulty rating and a score out of 10. And every prompt I use is yours to steal. I'll tell you how at the end. This is the gauntlet. Let's open it. Quick context, because this is the part that makes you money. Most people judge AI models on chat, but the fastest growing skill in tech right now is getting a model to produce shippable interface design from a single prompt, because a one shot that lands turns a week of design back and forth into a minute. The catch? The model is only half the equation. The prompt is the other half. So as we run these 7 tests, watch what the prompts do, not just what the model does. There's a pattern, and by test 7 you'll have it. Test 1, the landing page. Difficulty 6.0, the warm-up, but with traps. The brief, a landing page for Driftline. A calm, journaling app for burned-out startup founders. Dark mode, exactly 1 accent color. Real persuasive copy. Lorem ipsum is banned. And 1 cruel constraint, no images allowed. Any visual has to be built from pure CSS or inline SVG. Here's the first output. Look at this hero. Your company gets your best hours. Give yourself 5 minutes. That headline understands the customer better than most human copywriters would on a first draft. There's a floating journal card with an actual reflective prompt inside it. A stress trend chip. A wave of amber rolling along the bottom. All drawn in code. Because we banned images and it improvised. The judge's deductions. That second card in the stack is clipped at the edge. The streak counter gets swallowed. Small craft miss, and in a one shot, small misses count. Score 8.7. If that's the warm up, this is going to be interesting. Test 2, the dashboard. Difficulty 7.5, because data density is where interface design usually dies. The brief, a full analytics dashboard for a YouTube creator. 4 stat cards with real numbers. A 30-day revenue chart drawn as raw SVG. Chart libraries banned. A top videos table. An activity feed. Realistic data everywhere. First output. This is the one that made me sit back. The revenue chart isn't a decoration. It's a real line with real points that match the numbers in the cards. The activity feed reads like a live channel. A milestone at 48,000 subscribers. A comment quoted mid-sentence. A payout initiated to a card ending in 4821. It even flagged the RPM dip as a seasonal ad dip. I didn't ask for any of that narrative logic. It inferred it. Deductions. The sidebar lists revenue twice. Once in the overview, once under growth. A real design reviewer would catch that in seconds. But the hierarchy, the breathing room at this density, this is senior level work. Score 9.3. Test 3, the mobile app. Difficulty 8.0, because mobile punishes everything. 1 column, fat thumbs, no room to hide. The brief. The home screen of a personal finance app at exactly iPhone dimensions. Balance card, quick actions, a spending breakdown drawn in SVG, recent transactions, and a proper bottom tab bar. Touch targets at least 44 pixels. The first output, straight from a 390 by 844 viewport. The balance card is confident. Big type, monthly change pinned to it. The spending donut actually adds up. The categories sum to the number in the middle. Most humans faking a UI don't bother making the math work. The model did. Deductions. The transaction list is the point of the screen, and only 1 row survives above the tab bar. The donut card is greedy. and the content below pays for it. On mobile, that's a real hierarchy mistake, not a nitpick. Score 8.5. Still shippable. Still first try. 3 tests in, you might think the model is doing all the work. It isn't. Pause and look at what every one of these prompts did. 1. Name the human and the feeling, not just the product. Burned out founders wrote that headline, not me. 2. Count everything. Exactly one accent color. Exactly 4 stat cards. 14 rows. Numbers are guardrails. Vague prompts get vague design. 3. Ban the escape hatches. No lorem ipsum, no stock images, no frameworks. Every ban forces craft. And 4. The big one. Describe the moment, not the page. You'll see it in the second half. Rows pre-selected, modals already open, sliders mid-drag. You're not prompting a file. You're prompting a screenshot. The exact moment a real user would be living in. Burn that in. It's the whole game. By the way, 7 judges have been scoring this gauntlet, but there are actually 8 chairs at the table. The 8th one is yours. That subscribe button is the only scorecard I ever see. If the first 3 tests earned it, flip your card now. It's one shot, no retries. And I read that score on every video. Test 4, the rescue. Difficulty 8.5, and this one's different. It's not creation, it's surgery. I hand wrote the worst form I possibly could. A 2005 government permit application. Times New Roman on a grey background. Yellow table cells. Shouting capitals. Tiny unlabeled inputs. A footnote that literally threatens to discard your application without notice. The rule: keep every single field. One shot to modernize it. And here's what came back. Look at this. Same 14 fields. Now a sectioned application with a progress marker. Section 1 of 4 about you. Labels above inputs. Helper text that explains why they need your tax ID instead of threatening you. Placeholders showing the format. Optional fields actually marked optional. And my favorite detail, the discard threat became, it takes about 5 minutes to complete. Same bureaucracy, different soul. This is the most practical test in the video because nobody's paying you to build journaling apps. But every company on earth has a form like this one. Deductions. It invented a privacy reassurance that legal would want to verify. Confident? Maybe too confident. Score? 9.1. The before and after alone is worth the price of admission, which, to be clear, is free. Test 5, the grind. Difficulty 8.0. The unglamorous work. An admin panel for managing team members. This is the UI that actually pays salaries. Tables, filters, bulk actions, pagination. The brief was merciless. 14 realistic rows, role and status columns, sortable headers, 3 rows pre-checked with a floating bulk actions bar already visible. Designing the moment, remember, not the empty page. First output. The filter chips carry live counts, all 87, 64 active, 17 invited, 6 suspended, and they reconcile with the pagination footer. The current user has a little U badge. Suspended members show 0 revenue, which is the kind of data logic nobody tells a model to do. And the bulk bar is right there, floating over the table. 3 selected. Change role, suspend, remove. Deductions. It added an export button I never asked for. Useful. But in a one-shot test, scope creep is a decision the prompt didn't authorize. And the bulk bar covers a row of data it should respectfully dodge. Score 9.2. The boring test aced. Test 6. The motion test. Difficulty 9.0 because now we're judging behavior, not pixels. The brief. An interactive pricing slider for an API product. A price that eases when you drag. Tiers that light up as you cross their thresholds. A savings line that animates in. And a trap hidden in the prompt. Initialize the slider at 2 million requests. So the scale tier is lit because I knew the screenshot would be taken at that exact state. First output $900 a month, glowing on a black card, like a spec sheet from the future. The scale tier is ringed exactly as ordered. The savings line found $1,100 against pay as you go. And yes, I checked the arithmetic. At that volume, it's right. Then we pushed the slider to 10 million in the browser, and every number followed. 2200 a month, 22 cents per thousand. Savings recalculated to 7800. Enterprise tier lit. I checked that math too. All of it holds. This isn't a picture of an interface. It's an interface. Deductions. The two inactive tiers are dimmed so aggressively they're barely readable. Dramatic. But an accessibility reviewer would fail that contrast on the spot. Score 8.9. On a first attempt with working math, I've watched teams ship worse after a sprint. Test 7. The final boss. Difficulty 9.5. The brief that makes designers ask for a deadline extension. A complete email client. 3 panes, folders, message list, open conversation. All at once, all coherent. Unread states, labels, a storage meter, a threaded reply. And the moment on top of the moment, a compose window already floating over the whole thing. Half written, Gmail style. One prompt, one shot. Here it is. 3 panes, 0 collisions. The thread reads like a real company, shipping a real launch. A product manager negotiating an App Store review buffer. An attachment called Launch Plan V4, a sign-off deadline of Friday end of day. The composite draft in the corner is mid-thought, following up on a customer's single sign-on requirements. Every zone of the screen knows about every other zone. That's the hard part of interface design. And it's the part everyone assumed models couldn't do. Deductions. The reply box under the thread and the compose window fight for the same corner of your attention. A layout referee would separate them. That's it. That's the list. Score 9.6. The hardest test in the gauntlet. And it posted the highest number of the night. The final board. Landing page 8.7. Dashboard 9.3. Mobile 8.5. The rescue 9.1. The grind 9.2. Motion 8.9. And the final boss 9.6. 63.3 out of 70. Every single test cleared 8. Not one output needed a second prompt to be presentable. Here's the honest read. The misses were real. A clipped card, a greedy donut, a duplicate nav item. A senior designer still beats this model on judgment. But the floor, the worst thing it produced on a first attempt, is now higher than most teams' average. And the floor is what you can build a business on. The question isn't whether it's perfect. It's whether you know how to ask. Which brings us to your half of the deal. The playbook. So you can run this gauntlet yourself tonight. 1. Name the human and the feeling. The copy will write itself. 2. Count everything. Colors, cards, rows, tiers. 3. Ban the escape hatches. No lorem ipsum, no stock images, no libraries. 4. Give it real data shapes because realism cascades. 5. Describe the exact moment you want to screenshot. Rows selected. Modal open. Slider mid drag. Prompt the moment, not the page. I've packaged all 7 prompts, word for word, plus the 5 rules and a before and after checklist into a free PDF. Comment the word ONESHOT on this video, and my system sends you the download link automatically. And if you're just getting started with the AI tools, the beginner guides, including the complete Claude Code guide, are linked in the description. Real talk. 90% of you watching haven't subscribed. On Facebook, subscribe is the supporter button. That is what keeps the lights on here. On YouTube, it's free and it tells the algorithm to send you more. Subscribe to support us. Follow along on Instagram and Facebook for bite-size AI. And the deep dive playbooks live here on YouTube. Subscribe so you don't miss one. Next time, the gauntlet gets a sequel. Same 7 tests, different models, and we find out who else survives. Comment one shot, grab the prompts, and go one shot something tonight. I'll see you in the next one.